We're smooth 98.1 FM. Good morning and welcome to the Grapevine. It is time for us to get into everything entertainment, and this man joins me from space, the surface of the moon this morning. But thanks to Elon Musk's X right now. Good morning, James Silas.
Yeah, good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Mr. Osa. I wanted to call you Osam. Omas. And yes, I don't know how I got to whatever planet I'm at right now, but it looks okay to me.
Yeah. All right, welcome. It's a Thursday, and it is the final edition for the month of February 29.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone born on February 29?
I really don't know. I don't know really. It has to be like a great day for or a great, year for that person because today's actually a leap. I mean, this year actually is a leap year.
The leap
So
year.
this is once it happens once in what 4 years.
Yes.
So shout out to everybody that was born February 29. I don't know how they are cooking.
All right, so let's go down. Let's begin the conversation by letting the listener know. Would hope to read the messages they're sending on 0809 4440981. Will be where we like to read the messages when you send them across on 0809 4440981. You can also go over to youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave your comments there, and we would get to read them. Cisco Delgado would just definitely pick up on the OSAS part of it you were going to pick up, but I'll get to his message later on. Just let's go on. So let's begin the conversation with this animation that came up recently. It's a Nigerian animation series, six-part sci-fi, and it's been released by Netflix. But sadly, the country for whom it's made, we can't get to see it. Isn't that ironic?
I mean, it has to be ironic because I was actually quite disappointed to, realize that we might not be able to watch it here on local TV. Um, yeah, but sometimes maybe you know this, but it's just that there's an angle to it, the whole
Mhm.
futuristic um graphic that was created for it. The story might not be so new to a lot of us here, but it would have been nice to just see, you know, to see how it would have been enacted easily. But I'm sure somehow, some way, maybe after this earlier premiere or for the first season, maybe because everything actually it says a six-part series.
Yes.
So maybe after they would have consumed the content abroad, they'll later find a way to throw it here for us
And bring
to
the
see.
shaft home for us to see,
Yeah,
right?
so I think now it's being probably treated as premium content. I think Disney Plus is supposed to be
Yes.
paid extra paid for something. So just maybe after that, we'll now get to see it here because there's no way you're telling an African story and they're not even showing it there. But if you're telling the story, we that's what I'm saying that maybe we're expected to know the story already, or it's our story, so they are telling the story to other people. But no matter how, I think it would have been nice for us to see. Interestingly, I was actually invited to the premiere that happened yesterday. I think yesterday was yesterday, and somehow somewhere I just couldn't make it. I probably would have
Mm.
seen it already, but hey, is what it is.
For those still wondering what we're talking about, that's talking about the sci-fi animation Nigerian production. That's Iwaju. That's what it's all about. But I understand it's taking these guys 5 years to produce an animation. Is that how long it takes? That's 5 years in a lifetime.
Absolutely, animations are not easy, especially when you want to make because this is they what's called evolve over time. So you'd have started when it was probably around the 2D era. Then you now you understand maybe after 1 year you are still there, still trying to create the character and all the motions and gestures of that character. And then 3D will come as well. Right now, I think we're in 4D, if not 5D. So um, the evolution will keep making you or keep taking or eating into your time. So yes, it can take that long to actually create. I mean, I happen to have somebody who does this animation like this as well, and this guy has been creating, in fact, changing and working on the character for the past how many years I've met him. Do you understand?
Mm.
So it's not easy at all. It's a very very difficult task to go into animation. And then animation that we're talking about here, you see, when somebody's talking, the way like real humans, when you bat your eyeballs, eyelashes, do you understand? Or move your finger, your gesture, your lips when you're talking, everything they create motion for all of those things for one character. Now imagine that the character will talk to other people, other things will be on the road, the grasses, it's a lot of work, really. It's a lot of work. I don't know what they can do with AI like that. So I think that you have to put in the work and make it happen like that.
Yeah, so we must lay flowers at the doorsteps of these guys behind the team,
Absolutely.
Kugali Media. We have to give them kudos for what they've done so far. And for
Yes.
also the setting, I understand it's set using the futuristic setting of Lagos and all of that. So that in itself gives them a plus too.
Absolutely. You see Keke, just the Keke tricycle flying
Yes.
in the air. You understand?
Wow.
Taxis, things are just floating in the air, the
What
graphic.
some of our landmarks would have
Different.
been used, the Lagos landmarks would have featured prominently too.
I believe so, I believe so that it has to be something that will make you, that will make you just connect somehow, some way. It's futuristic, but it all starts from where we are right now. And you just see a few things that especially with the Keke Mara that you see see
Yes.
in the movie. Yeah.
I love to
So
see
it's interesting.
there will be yellow buses. The trademark yellow buses down for would just be
Flying,
something I love to see.
floating in the air, flying, not necessarily. I don't think there will be traffic in that world.
Oh, okay. Well, let's let it slide for now and hope that they would retrace their step and make sure we get to see it first, because they say charity begins from home, not from abroad. Well, let's go on to other matters, music related now. It's been over close to a year now since Mohbad's passing now, and we understand a very good friend of his, also a co-singer, also talking about Bella Shmurda, is set to get out a new album out, and more like a tribute to him, Mohbad. Talk us through this process.
Yeah. But as far as shout out to him, I had the opportunity to meet him personally, like I think it was last 2 weeks or so. Sort of spend time around him, with him there. And he's a great personality, he's a great guy, a very funny guy, and focused as well. So, and he had mentioned this whole EP that is dropping something very soon. And that was actually, I think I saw him before he left for his London event. So yeah, he's dropping an EP titled Road to September 12th, which is when he's releasing his album. And when you give us a title like this, it means that you cannot fail or postpone that date. We'll be looking forward to that date.
Sure.
But yeah, he's a lot of the songs, or what the project surrounds, like a tribute to his very close friend Mohbad. And for some of us, myself inclusive, didn't know that he was that close, that he was really, really, friends and close friends with Mohbad that passed. And you can understand that for friends, someone that you always talk to, someone that you all hang out together and all of that, and then suddenly you'll be able to see that person again. It has to be, very, very sad. So if he's doing this project for him, because a lot of people, I know I heard a couple of songs that people released, as tribute to Mohbad and stuff. He didn't talk much, and Bella didn't talk much. He didn't do much. I'm sure he kept it in his, he kept himself until when he was now ready to do this particular project. But his fingers crossed. I know he makes good music. Let's see how it comes out.
In your submission, you talked about how they've been very close, and how important is this for an artist to be able to create something like this? Would this help him on that road to finally getting a closure to the passing of a friend so dear to him like Mohbad?
That closure part does not happen. There's no formula to it. There's really no formula to it, because especially when he didn't get an opportunity to even understand what really happened, just like a lot of us are still clueless as to what really happened to the late artist. So I don't know about the closure part, but when it comes to grief, this can be a way for him to really pour out his heart. We have to wait to hear the songs and see how it comes out. But yeah, this will just be his own form of expression, to tell us his story, tell us how he felt, or tell us, what he really, really feels deep inside about the loss of his friend.
this is it's seeming like wait for the album to come out, but it's seeming like is about to take us on a personal journey as it seems right now. But also
Yes.
bounce that off of the fact that in 2023 he had an album out, and this year also he's putting out something again. That what does that say about his knack for creativity and how the
Yeah, I
tap
mean,
is flowing for him?
absolutely. I mean, when it comes to music, it has to do with how you feel or create that creative process. Sometimes it comes flowing back to back. Sometimes situations will warrant or inspire you to get into that mood. Do you understand? So it really really depends. And then for some, if you look at or check his roll call or his catalog of records, it doesn't really have a lot of albums. Do you understand? Sometimes um it just has to do with how they feel, the creative juice that the level of or the amount of juice they feel at a particular point in time. You know, for him, I mean, this year we're looking at a situation where he's going to put out two body of works. Do you
Mm.
understand? So that's like a great deal of achievement if he does or pulls through with it. Sometimes like I said, some artists will tell you, okay, I'm going to release two songs this year or two albums this year or this and that this year, and when that time comes, you
Hmm.
just even don't hear you don't hear from them
I
at
get
all.
it.
But we're really hoping. In fact, the best way for this to happen is that he would have submitted the songs already and scheduled it for that
No going
September
back.
12th. So no story, no going back.
Before we rest this, there's this. I saw you also you hinted the fact that Mobad's passing had also triggered some bodies of work, which by what we're looking last count, it looks like 60. That's a great body of work in itself.
Oh, absolutely. So it really, really depends. Do you understand? So, but it keeps coming like that. It depends on people involved. So, but certain situations can warrant or can just sort of trigger people to want to create. It just depends. Sometimes it can be a feel good moment for you to want to get into the studio. Sometimes it can be when you're going through, a sad time or sad period. Sometimes it can just be an situation that happens maybe in your dream or a moment of epiphany. It just depends. So create you can't question creativity. It just happens.
Yeah, get it.
Yeah.
It comes, you yield to it. It's like a tap flowing. You get under and
So
then take the shower as it's as flowing. So let's go on. But even if we stop at some point, I'd like us to stay on this next story. So at some point, this takes us back to this one person, Odogwu himself, the African giant. Since this whole issue started with the oldies, the OG himself talking about Idris Abdul Karim, that's back and forth. Everyone has been jumping into this, and yeah, we've got someone who's also speaking now. J1, the one who talked about making money this year, how much money he's made since that time till now. But we always find out every year that song making money becomes something very new. We wish to start the
yeah.
new year with. But J1 is talking here saying, look, you can't say that no one paved the way for you. So he's jumped into the conversation now too. Would he get the basketballs? Is he ready for it?
I mean, I'm sure he's ready for it because he has also tweeted on several occasions that whatever he said.
Mm.
So I don't mind people airing their opinion on issues or subject matters, but one thing I've always been, an advocate for is when you want to air your opinion, you don't need to use any form of vulgar language or you don't need to be insultive with the things you say. Because when the headline that goes around, I also watched that interview,
Yeah.
when he said it is madness to say no one paved the way for you. And it's really, really, that's the problem. That's the actual problem. You see, that was what, what's his name, Idris said that would have, and not just on one occasion, on several occasions that had actually triggered Burna Boy's response at the other time, that came off as a threat. Um, and this is not
James,
the first time.
James, you'll come back and open up on that conversation. There's a
No
whole lot
problem.
to dig into once again. If you just
All
joined
right.
in, you're listening to the Grapevine on Smooth 98.1 FM. We expect to get your messages in reactions to the entertainment stories and gossips we're talking about this morning. Get them across as WhatsApp message onto 0809 4440981. You can race down to a YouTube channel. You can see James Silas. James, you didn't give us a year this morning. What happened?
I actually did. You
Oh,
probably missed it.
can you give us another year as
I
we go
did.
on now? James
Okay.
Silas.
Yeah. James Silas in the building. How long do we have? Omas, how much time do you have? Can you hear me?
We're Smooth 98.1 FM. It is still the Grapevine, and James Silas is still here. James Silas.
Yeah.
So let's pick up the conversation.
Yeah.
Still, this issue of nobody paved the way for me. Only recently, Burna Boy is also created now saying in a year, it sleeps just instead of 24 hours in a day, 8 hours, it would just do basically 3 hours and a fraction. And that's what it puts in. So it does 21 hours working steady. And then how dare somebody comes up to now tell him, I paved the way for you. And he has even gone on to create another controversy now with that statement saying, don't call these guys my colleagues. These guys you're talking about, we are not colleagues. That's what it is. I only have one bestie in the industry, and that's Fino.
So, I mean, that's Burna Boy's position. Do you understand? It's his position. You cannot take it. That if he has said, if he has said, look, my best friend or the people that I have, I am friends with are these people. That's his position. And it brings me back to the same what I was saying earlier, that you can air your opinion about certain situations without being insulted, without coming off as disrespectful. Don't disrespect anybody, don't insult anybody, don't use any foul language to express your opinion. That's where it becomes insulting and sort of causing a problem. Now, personally, I maintain that paving a way is different from inspiring people. I mean, there's a difference between inspiring somebody and motivating somebody. Do you understand? Or inspiring, because sometimes when it comes to inspiring people, it just really, really, for me personally, because I have to keep saying that it's a personal opinion, that you can do something that to make other people look at it and say, okay, this thing is possible. I can actually do this thing. Do you understand? But it's different from when you actually tell people that, look, do this thing, go ahead and do this thing. You personally, or you're talking to somebody who works with you, or somebody say you are talented. I think you can, just sort of show the person the ropes and show the person the way around the industry. And I keep saying that when you look at the industry today, the people that actually paved the way are those people that put their lives and their time and their money on the industry. A lot of artists that came to just play their own role, and after they finished their work, they moved on. Some other people or another generation came up and carried on from where they stopped. Does not mean that they were passing the baton in any way. Look, you are doing your business. As far as this music business, it's your business. You are doing your business. You come, express your talent. When people buy your talent or buy into your music or buy into what you're doing, great for you. But some people do not even come off as successful as the other ones. So if you come and say you paved the way, it's not really so. If we look at the history of Afrobeat, I just want to say Afrobeats, not just young age Nigerian music, but you see that even before the Remedies, we had Junior and Pretty. Those guys had done something way earlier, and guess what? They weren't even the first. If you still go further into that research, you realize that we had other people that were doing stuff before the likes of Junior and Pretty came forward or came through. But how about the record label some records that was there at the point in time to also support these artists. Do you understand? When you talk about paving the way, look at the likes of Obi Asika. Do you understand? Talk about Aldo Mekori. Talk about Keke and D1. Do you understand?
Yes,
we have these people that actually made sure, or sort of manage the situation for a lot of artists to be able to pull through. But at the time, who was playing Nigerian music? How many radio stations did we have? Do you understand? But they made all of these things look cool. I could remember how fast I want to run back home before a certain time to make sure I catch primetime TV. Do you understand? Or what's it called? Yeah, that they are shown on Ray Power at the time and then AIT at the time. Those are people that actually gave an opportunity for a lot of people to pass through. But the artists that at the point in time did what they had to do. And look, the business is very vast and dynamic. If you don't evolve, if you don't find a way around, because you cannot be not everybody will be like King Sunny Ade, not everybody will be like Ebenezer Obey, not everybody will be like K1. Do you understand? Who are really, really in the what's called the height of their both their age and career and their bodies even, but are still pushing through. Do you understand? Not everybody will be like that. And it still shows that, look, you don't need to be in front of the mic or in front of the camera to create an impact. Do you understand? But you can actually evolve from being the front artist to becoming somebody who's also sponsoring or also paving the way for others. But just because you had an experience does not mean that you paved the way for other people, for God's sake. Just because you fought for yourself to sit in the front row or business class or whatever, does not mean that you paved the way for other artists to come and also be sitting. No, the game evolved, the game would change, the game grew to the point where people say, look, just because Idris at the time decided to sit in the business part of the plane does not mean that the other guys wouldn't have also demanded. Do you understand? And just because we were the first to do it at that time did not inspire me to say, or to my rider to say that, oh, you have to give me business class as well. No, it's everybody. You get your own rider, you send it to the people, you have your own agreements, you have your own contracts. We have different lawyers. We always demand for what we want. Even till date, the artists that can demand or ask for private jet to fly to somewhere are still, we can count them on our fingers. If you don't work yourself into that level, onto that line of artists, you cannot. Look at it. Who are you to come and ask us for private jet? That's what's going to happen. So you have to do your work. Everybody will do their work, and then if you get to that point where you're asking or demanding for what you are, what you truly deserve, you're going to get it. Nothing is given easily. However, the argument might probably continue, but this is my position that paving the way is not necessarily you cannot take that glory or you cannot take that claim if you did not particularly show somebody the ropes and even give your contacts, make your contact available and all your resources available to that person. That's the only way you can say, I paved the way for it. And it's a statement that you have to say with all sense of humility, my brother. Only God helps everybody. You cannot just come and say, I paved the way and we paved the way. Bro.
James, this conversation is an ever-evolving one. We don't know who else is jumping into the fray once again, but it seems like the fight is getting real dirty out there. But let's let it slide. We'll get messages coming in and we'll read them in a short while. Let's go over now to the one who's known as the Akpako master back in the days, who would ask if he could knock the Akpako. But at this point right now, at some point he was born again, at some point, but now he's back. He's asking for collabos at some point. But yeah, he seemed to be asking for his royalties from the plantain seller himself. How come this piled up?
Let me tell you, Omas and our listeners out there, you see, this is a simple situation or a shared situation of cloud chasing. And I don't say this in any form of disrespect. Situations when it comes to music, this music business, it's very simple, it's very direct. You don't even come to social media to come and say, oh, this person. Timaya is not the one that's owned you royalties. Yes, you have a song together, you produce a song for him and all of that. The same thing applies to every other person. They are not the people who directly own you. You have to identify, get your lawyer to write the people that are distributing the record, to write the people that are actually selling the record on behalf of the artist. There's always a contract. And it doesn't matter how long ago or whatever, you can always come and if you do it the right way, if you go through the right way, you're going to get what you deserve. Do you understand? It's not a question of coming to social media to say Timaya don't own you. And guess what? Sometimes, a lot of times, because I mean, we've come to a point of professionalism when it comes to this. A lot of these records, those things happened, or these records were released when we didn't even have digital distribution. But for some of those songs that have now been moved, do you understand? That have now been moved to the digital platforms. There's always room for everybody that was involved. Your money can't even be sitting there, but you're not going to claim it.
Yeah.
It's not calling out Timaya. It's not Timaya's job. You are the one, and your lawyers that are going to write the distribution. So yeah, all those things are on they are not hidden. Do you understand? You say, okay, my song is on Apple Music. You are going to write them. You are going to, and then there's approach. Man of approach really matters. Don't assume that everybody has time to want to have a conversation with you. Sometimes all you need to do is actually be friendly, actually be nice, and say, bro, what's going on now? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's as simple as so. It's not a question of coming to social media to say that's where I call it cloud chasing. There's a process. Just all you have to do is write the appropriate people concerned, and that's all. And you see, all your money will be remitted to you. It's as simple as that. So let's stop acting acting like illiterate. Don't come here and be shouting at me and say, "Where's my money?" I'm not the one holding your money. I'm not the one. Go to the appropriate body, and it has been allocated there already. There's no way. You are the artist, I am the producer. It's 50-50. You take your part, I take my. They're not going to take your part. They're not going to pay Timaya for production. He's not the producer of the song. So they should stop making people think that there's a problem when there's no problem.
So let's get on to this one. It broke our hearts when this news came out because it's been a favorite for people who stay glued to the TV sets to watch these families shape, believe, make us laugh. But at some point, we realized that someone is missing from the canvas and the camera. It looks like things can't be the same any longer. I'm just saying this to say that the organizers or the producers are pulling the plug off this favorite TV. The Johnsons, it's coming to an end after 13 years.
Whoa. I mean, I don't know how to say it broke my heart, but I also saw this coming. Sometimes there are some characters that are just irreplaceable. I don't know how you want to, who you're going to put there to make it look any, come even close. I could remember when I used to watch what's it called? Papa Jasco. Once the character started changing, I just knew that's it. I just lost interest. Do you understand? I think, and I felt so too with the Johnson. I don't know how they would have been able to balance it. And I think that it may have been one of the challenges that they would have had.
And we're talking about with the passing of Adame eventually.
Yes, so Adame. Yes, with the passing of Adame. I feel like that's one of the challenges they probably would have had. I mean, they looked for ways to play around. Maybe she traveled. Like they tried to manage the situation, but I don't think it really, really worked. I don't think, So and also the style of the storytelling for the Johnsons is really, really surrounded around the main family. Do you understand? I'll just mention let me just mention Basketmouth's show as well. His series on the same platform.
Flatmates.
What's it called? Flatmates. Yes, Flatmates. Yeah. Yes, they have a way of throwing the story or making the story around other characters in some weeks. Where you don't get to hear, they don't talk about Basketmouth or Obus, those other people. They just sometimes can be around Chief Donatus. Do you understand? Sometimes can be around, the different characters like that. They are able to just coin the thing in such a way that you will not miss certain people sometimes. And if you look at the writers of the story as well, you see some days Buchi will write. Some days it would have been written by Oke Bakassi. Some days by Solomon in the crew who's not on the main listen. So there's a way they've been able to manage situations where some people are not. Right now, Kyle Peters is not even in the country. Do you understand? But they've been able to manage the story such that he has gone abroad to maybe open another branch or something. So I think that's one of the things that did not happen with the Johnsons. And even if it did, yes, but I just feel like they've done well anyway, and they've won so many awards. I was so I wasn't happy about the news, but I also understand that it had to, happen like this.
So on the Grapevine this morning, we're laying our flowers at their doorstep to say they deserve their flowers for giving us entertainment, pure content, morals, and everything for the last 13 years.
Absolutely.
And may the soul of Adame also rest because she really did made an impact.
She did.
Beyond the screen.
She did.
Let's go over to what the messages are looking like. I hope you're ready for them. James Silas, Tayo comes up with a message. James, next time, send me, because you didn't go to the Waju premiere. That's what he said. I will go on your behalf. Not the first time people's culture is being denied by the West in the name of capitalism. They should give Jude OC the job. It will do it. Oh, Jude OC does it. I see his animation on X, the street of X. Real great guy too. Keke Mawa and Danfo is incomplete without paying for loading and security to Agbero. Then it goes on to say it's been alleged that the president doesn't sleep for as long as well too. The sacrifice for greatness is not easy. I just hope Burna Boy isn't linked to P. Diddy situation like Meek and Mill and Usher. Talk about James Silas too. Is not a small person in the business. Yeah, that's what he says. Then I have got Cruz here waiting. But James, your head is there. That's like say Oriye Wambe. That's what he's going to say. Good talk, good talking, taking down memory lane. That's what he has to say. And then comes in Emma from Lagos saying, Obas, 2D and 3D animation is not being so. Arcade took 6 years to develop. The entire process from character development, storyboarding, conceptualization, fleshing out 3D modeling, environment, modeling, texturing. It goes on, retopology, rigging, voiceovers, and all. It says production is very grueling. Designers don't get enough credit. Ima from Lagos. Thank you so much for sending that message. Sesco Delgado is up here with the Swan. And he goes, what does he say now? Burna Boy is a very controversial person. No man is an island. We all support each other one way or the other. Idris Abdulkarim, Daddy Shoki, others contributed so much to the Nigerian music industry. And then goes on. Well, Idris Abdulkarim actually paved the way. He defied the standard that all Nigerian artists have equal rights with Western artists. Final message, Xavier comes up. Hello, Ghana Jollof, and yes, Onyenke, my person, that you know him.
Xavier, of course,
and Johnsons are in the same, so the adjustment won't fly. And then it goes on. I said last week, Burna is still a child. Let's see 30 years from now how relevant his songs will still be. And that's a wrap. Victor Shenwa, I see your message. Thank you so much, James, for your time.
Thank you for having me. Shout out to everybody that listened. Bless.
All right, have a great day. And that's a wrap.